That was weird. Hey, welcome to the Comic Watchers Show, episode number 280. My name is Matt. With me, as always, is Chad. We're here to talk to you about comics. Joining us this week is industry legend Jimmy Palmiotti. He's going to talk about his new Kickstarter, Deep Sea, and probably some other things as well. You never know. Because, these creative types, they have a lot of stuff up their sleeve, it seems. So, Jimmy, how the heck are you?
All right, pretty good. How you doing, Matt? And
I'm wonderful.
Chad?
Thank
Chad's
you.
hiding out
Thank
in the
you
dark.
so
Look at
much.
him. Chad's
So-
being very mysterious right now.
Chad is always mysterious. That's why he wears the beard that he does, so that he can't be identified with facial recognition software.
No, I'm doing. Oh, there he goes.
So, well, Jimmy, I know Deep Sea has fully funded in something like 12 hours. So, congratulations on that. That's amazing.
Thank you.
This is far from your first Kickstarter, of course, but you're out there working with your frequent collaborator Justin Gray again, and artist, I believe, Tony Akins.
Yeah, Tony's from his work from Fables, and he's done a lot of work at Fables at Vertigo.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Well, the book, from what we've seen of it so far, is just gorgeous. But what can you tell folks about it?
Yeah, so it's basically it's three 8-page parts of it were originally published and Dark Horse Presents many years ago, and the story was never finished. And we got the rights back to it, and we decided 10-15 years later, let's finish this story. So we got Tony Akins and Paul Mounts to do the art on it. Mm-hmm. It's basically the story is a mix of science fiction, action, fantasy, and romance, and it starts out in 1961. There's a group of 5 that deep sea divers. They're taking a vessel down to the deepest part of the ocean, obviously the Marianas Trench, and they're going down there. But right before they go down on the mission, one of them gets hurt and he has to stay back. So the 4 other partners, they go down in the ship, and when the ship goes deep, hits a certain point, something happens and all the communications broken off, and they can't get the ship back up. And this story takes place 40 years later, where with the one guy that was left behind because something happened right before the launch, and the government sends a helicopter to pick him up because they found the ship that was missing 40-something years before, and he goes there and they see the ship, and the ship's intact. And then that's where the mystery begins of what happened. And it's kind of it has a lot of, like, if you want to say movie things that remind you of movies, it's sort of like a mix of The Abyss, mm-hmm. and Sphere, and a whole bunch of other movies that are about deep sea explorers. But it's got monsters, it's got wild science fiction stuff, it's got otherworldly stuff, and then at the core of the story, it's about romance, because the guy that got out, his girlfriend or fiance at the time, was in the ship when the ship got lost, and 40 years before. So there's a lot of stuff. It's a fantastic story. It's a done in one. So if you get the book, that's the whole book. And the Kickstarter, we offer it with a couple of different covers, and we also offer a digital for $10. So you can get, if you back it even for $10, you'll get a PDF that you own. Unlike a lot of the digital comic sites, this is something you can own and use on anything from phones to iPads to your computer. And then then we have the books. We have a Dave Johnson cover. We have Amanda Connor, my wife, to the cover. And then we have a cover done by Tony Akins. So there's not a ton of things on the Kickstarter, but the good news is we're getting the numbers up. And so if you go on and join it now, you'll probably get some of the stretch goals, that and the extras that you wouldn't have gotten out of the gate. So the better the Kickstarter does, the more stuff we give you guys. And that's it. That's my 25th, I think, Kickstarter. So
impressive.
Thank you. And it's a 100% delivery rate. everybody's got their stuff. No complaints. You'll never hear a bad word about me and the Kickstarter because I make sure every single person is happy with what they bought and they get it on time. So haven't missed a deadline yet.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So going back to kind of some of the themes of Deep Sea, I imagine we're dealing with a little bit of survivor's guilt from the protagonist. Tell us
Yes.
a little bit about that.
Yeah. He's I mean, that was the love of his life, and he got in an accident right before they went down. He slipped and broke his leg, and obviously you can't go deep sea anything with the pressure down there with any kind of break or injury, and he can't go on it, and he had to live the rest of his life knowing that not only was he not there, deep in his head he's thinking, could I have saved everybody, could I have done anything differently? And then of course the love of his life is gone, so he lives a life by himself the best he can afterwards. But there's more to it than that, because when they do find the ship, I don't want to give away too much of the story,
Sure.
but I'll give you the main thing. The main thing is he goes there and he identifies the ship, and then they tell him, look, we brought you here not only to identify the ship, but we want to show you something. And he goes in another room, and it's a one-way mirror, and in the other room, and his four people that went in 1961. And to them, what happened to them is they went, it was just one day before. They're exactly the same age they were. He's now in his late 70s, early 80s, and they're in their 20s, and they're still alive. And the story is about the mystery of what happened to them
Right.
while they were down there. Yeah.
So from a creative standpoint, what was it like revisiting this story and getting to finish it, getting that sense of closure
Yeah.
after years of beginning it?
There's nothing worse when you're a creator and you have a story and you didn't finish it, right? And people love the story. It's funny because I even had a film studio interested in it at one point. They were like, "Well, how does it end?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I haven't gotten to do the ending yet because because the publisher moved on from it, and then I had to wait till the right time. I had to wait till Tony was available, when Paul was available. I didn't want to do it without everybody that did the original
Sure.
book. So I had to just wait. But like all good things, if you wait long enough, things happen. And when we finally put it together, I mean, the initial number for the Kickstarter we were trying to raise was 10 grand, and we raised it. And that pretty much pays my guys. Like everybody that worked on it gets paid. It doesn't necessarily pay for the printing, doesn't necessarily pay for everything. But I wanted to make sure at least those guys, for the hard work they did, get paid. And then I'm the last guy that gets paid on every Kickstarter. I, I tend to do it that way because I feel it's my responsibility, if I'm hiring people, to make sure they all get paid and paid well, and the rate they want. Which is when I do my Kickstarters, I ask my artists, "What do you want?" So I'm not going to give you a rate. You tell me what you want, and then we'll see what we can do, where we can meet in the middle somewhat. But yeah, so it's just getting to finish the story feels so good, and just getting it out there into the world. I think that's all you want when you're a comic creator. You just want people. Look, it's however long it takes you to read, a half hour, an hour, whatever. I want it when you're reading this thing, your brain is there and you're not worrying about anything else that's going on. And that's really the core of what we do, is to be a pleasant distraction in your life. That's basically all comic writers and illustrators want to do.
Yeah.
We want to take you away with us on a journey, and then that you can return to anytime you want.
Chad, jump in.
Now, did something like this it's kind of different from what we're used to from you, like Jonah Hex and stuff. Was there research that you had to do for science questions or to make things work?
Yeah, so so the whole the stuff that happened back in time, I did my research about what kind of vessels they would use, how deep, all what could be done, what happens with the pressure and everything. But I don't do like a exposition. I don't do a ton of like, here's the facts. I kind of worked everything into the story, and there is a fantasy level, right? Because at one point we see these monsters are unleashed from the bottom of the trench, and and we have gigantic monsters attacking ships and everything. And then there's a whole science fiction angle. So there's a point where you're like, okay, here's where it's grounded, and then here's where it goes. That all goes out. It's sort of like Godzilla. The more you ground Godzilla, the more believable it is. But
Mhm.
but at the end of the day, it's a lizard around 80 stories high. So you have to, like, your brain has to go, okay, but it is a gigantic lizard 80 stories high, stepping on buildings and people. And so with this, I just put in enough science that you're not sitting there going, oh, that's baloney. But also at the same time, I'm writing a comic book. I'm not making a movie and I'm not making a TV show. This is like pure comic book sensibilities. You go in, you believe their story. As crazy as it gets, you're following them because you like the characters. And then it has an ending that I think is great. It has the ending I would want to see, obviously. And that's the beauty of making comics, is you really don't have to. It's a 5-person job. It's not 300 people in a studio
Right.
and then screening it and telling them to change the ending. This book is exactly the way Justin and I saw it, and that's what everybody's getting.
So you didn't do a deep dive into the science?
Yeah.
No, I don't think there was a. I did it on our end, but there was not a. There was nothing into it. There was nothing in it that we had to do that. Like, again, it's done. There is a bit of science in it, but there was nothing that I was trying to sell or convince a person like, hey, this is this because of that. We have the science of pressure, underwater pressure. We have some of the stuff. The obviously, when the scientists are talking all the languages, that's where we do the deep dive. We want to make sure we're talking the right thing. It's sort of like on a Big Bang Theory when they're talking about science. They literally have 2 or 3 guys, and that's their only job, to make sure all the science is correct.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always correct. If you go on a Big Bang, there's no made up science. Like, every time they talk about something or have a drawing on a board, that's an actual thing. And so the same thing with our story. It's all actually there, but we're kind of bending the rules a little bit because we're telling a story that's fiction. So we're just kind of making up some crazy stuff too.
Well, sure. You have to have suspension of disbelief at some point.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, it's a piece of paper in your hand. You have to,
Yeah. It's a story, not a science lecture.
No, you can get into that zone, right, with certain things, but then you tend to lose the audience a little bit.
You can't.
There's a possibility of alienating your audience. It works for novels too, because sometimes you read a novel and you're like 3 pages in, and you're like, I can't read this anymore. I'm bored out of my mind or whatever. So it's a very fine balance when you're writing a comic to kind of know where to push and where to pull.
Right on. And I mean, you've been doing it long enough that you've got to you and Justin have a comfort level with what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't know what Chad's doing over there.
Chad.
Sounds like he's wrestling a seal.
Stopping at the grocery store. I'll mute my mic.
I thought he was blowing his nose for a second. But
that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah, I was hoping for the best.
So it goes. But so yeah, Deep Sea. It's funded in 12 hours. It continues to fund. Congratulations again on that. The whole team.
Thanks,
that's very impressive to hear. What is it about the Kickstarter experience that appeals to you? Because like you said, this is like your 24th or 25th one.
It is the idea that I can connect directly with the people buying my work. I can aim my work at an audience that I don't have to try to make everyone happy. Mm-hmm. I can aim it at an audience that understands, like, hey, this might be mature audiences, so that's that, or this, or hey, these guys love these artists as cover artists, so I can go get them. I don't have editorial telling me don't do this and don't do that, and you can't do that. A big thing these days working for companies is they tell you all day long what you can't do. Standards and practices is a main thing at both companies, both big companies. And they tell you, oh, you know what? We said okay to it in the outline, but if it's going to finish, you need to change everything because we can't have that happen. I don't go through that. We kind of write whatever we want, and that's the story you're going to get. It gives freedom because we're not worried about a comic publishing company. They worry about they worry about everything because they have advertisers and they have shareholders, and we have no shareholders. We have a crappy bank account and some credit with a printer. So we don't really answer to too many people, and again, if people like it, they talk about it. If they don't, they don't. Whatever it may be. The Kickstarters to me are basically to get my work out there that I enjoy doing, and to hope that I find an audience while I'm doing it. I don't have that luxury with working on other people's characters. I kind of have to keep to what they do, and there's limitations. I mean, I can't. I remember we did Harley. We were doing Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey. We did the Black Label book, and they told us we could do anything we want. And Amanda drew Harley topless for a whole beginning of the story because she's at the beach sunning with Poison Ivy. And then they came back and said, no, you can't do that. And I'm like, you guys told us we could do anything we want. And then all of a sudden it was like, oh, you also can't put Batman in a Speedo, and this fight with the Joker is too violent. You can't do that. So again, it's like rules. And I get it because they're selling it to younger audiences or whatever it may be.
Right.
The freedom of
A Black Label, though?
Well, but Black Label kind of fell apart pretty quick, right? Once they had the Batawang, it kind of got, they kind of had to watch everything they put out. Black Label, I think the Black Label became the gray label after that. It wasn't that adult as they wanted to make it, and we suffered for it because we were right after that book, and they were like, you can't do this and you can't do that, and it was tough for us because we were promised that we could do anything we want. That's why we took the job on. But that's publishing, and that's the way of the world. That's right. Corporate. That's corporate America.
Serving corporate masters in a nutshell.
Yeah, it's all fine. Look, Amanda still drew the hell out of that book, and it's a great book. We're very proud of it. But when you look at the original art, I know she could sell those pages in 2 minutes.
Oh, sure.
They don't match what's in the book. That's for sure. But that's what happens, and that's why I do the Kickstarters and stuff like that. I really just, if I want nudity in my book, it's there, and if I want excessive violence, whatever I want to do, it's in that book the way I see it, and that's what the Kickstarters are. It's like me uncensored.
I love it.
Now, have you noticed anything different between this Kickstarter and any other or previous Kickstarters that you've run?
So every Kickstarter has a different thing. If I do a Painkiller Jane Kickstarter, it does giant numbers. If I do sex and violence book, it's probably my biggest seller, or Pop Kill was a giant seller. And then I do like 21 Down, or this one where it's a smaller story, or it's not a character people know or familiar with me. They usually have lower tiers, but I kind of know going in where this is going to land. Like I have a number that I think this Kickstarter is going to hit by the time I'm done. And 90% of the time I'm correct where it's going to go. It's just that I know certain things have bigger audience than other things. Certain genres do better than other genres. But I don't decide what I'm doing based on the sales. I decide what I'm doing based on what I want to tell, the story I want to tell. So I'm not chasing the money all the time. I'm kind of, I kind of want to get, the next one I am doing is Painkiller Jane because it's the 30th anniversary of Jane.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. But, like I said, Deep Sea I know was not going to be a big one because it's an action adventure thing. It's either you like that genre or you don't, or you like Tony's art, or you don't. But each one holds its own things. We did a 21 Down one, which was the 13th issue of 21 Down, and we knew exactly where that was going to land, and it did. The good part with the Kickstarters too is when you back the Kickstarter, even if you back it at the $10 level, we have all these add-ons, and you go on and there's like a dozen things you can buy directly from us. And we do pretty good with the add-ons. Like people do add books on all the time because it's stuff they never see. But they each have their own difficulties. They each have their own PR. Like, honestly, print media won't cover this Kickstarter, right? I have to talk about it in order to get press. They won't cover it. Jane, they'll cover. Jane, Bleeding Cool will pick up, CBR will pick up, all that. But something like this, they won't pick it up because there's no sensational headline.
Right. Or it's not sexy enough.
No, or I'm not buying advertising on this site, so I can't get it. Whatever it may be,
So, um, so look. Speaking of corporate masters, you've got a Punisher miniseries that is starting next month.
Yeah, I do. It starts on October 8th. It comes out with Dan Panosian and
And
I do it.
you've got that. You've
Right.
also got the Punisher Daredevil miniseries that's fixing to kick off.
That's in
And
November.
then,
Yeah.
of course, Ben Percy's got his Red Band that just started. Like, we're in a mini Punisher renaissance that you're just happen to be in the middle of right now.
We didn't even look. They didn't even tell us they were releasing a ongoing Punisher the month before. They didn't even tell us. So
Really?
when Percy's book was solicited, we were like, "What?" Like we thought ours was coming out, October, whatever. And there's, oh no, we're doing this one too. And I'm like, okay, I don't agree with the scheduling so much, but
Sure.
then if you're in a Punisher mood, you can get some more Punisher. So maybe they're thinking of it that way,
Well,
Um,
it's been a hot minute since we've had Frank Castle like fully served up for us.
Yeah. This is
There's a variety of reasons behind that.
well,
Some more legitimate than others.
yeah.
But
This one was in years in the making because it ties in with Joe Quesada's and Christopher Priest's Things to Come series, the Black Panther series they're doing.
yes.
Loosely ties in. It's just a thread in there of it, but it is a Marvel Knights book. It's a little more violent and sexier than usual, and the book is going to sell out on its first day. I will tell you right now, when it comes out, it's going to sell out in every store. Because once people open it and look at it, Dan Panosian penciled, inked, and colored it.
Wow.
And it's amazing. The stores don't even know what it's going to hit. This thing is going to sell out so quick. You mark my words, when it come out the 8th, by the 9th, they're going to say it's going to go into a second printing. By the 9th or the 10th. We already know that, So
right, based on pre-orders and stuff.
no, based on confidence. We think it's that good.
Okay.
Yeah. The pre-orders, the FOC, we don't know we know the beginning numbers. We don't know the FOC because they always add a lot of numbers onto that.
Right.
We just know that once it's sitting on the shelf in the store, the cover is amazing. It's beautiful red cover and it just, everything about the book stands out. And it's one of those things when you see it on the rack, you're gonna want to say, "Oh, I have to take that down and look at it." And then, unlike a lot of comics, when you open it up, it's even better looking. So that's why I have some confidence in it, because we don't have we have a lot of nice looking comics, but we don't have a ton of amazing looking comics. Okay, we have a lot of good looking books, but I think Dan really just took it to another level on this book, and I think when people open it up, they're gonna have to buy it. If it's in their hands, they're gonna pick it up. I know that's a lot of confidence coming from me, but my office is also in a giant comic shop, so I know how things move.
Sure. Well, I mean, and like I was saying, it's been a hot minute since we've had ongoing Punisher series, even or a mini series featuring Frank Castle. I think people are hungry for it.
Yeah, I think this is pure Frank Castle. This book, it's pure angry at the world Punisher. It's hardcore, it's violent, it's extra pages. It's not 22 pages. I think it's a lot more pages than that, and I don't remember the count, but it's it's what Punisher fans want. I'm a Punisher fan, so this book has everything I want. I want sexy women. I want him holding a Gatling gun, taking out groups of people. I want insane kills. I want great bad guys, and I want a body count.
Yeah,
and
absolutely. That's why we read the Punisher.
I don't want to give it away, but there's also something in the back of the first issue that's never been done in a Punisher book before, and it's just an add-on. It's not with the story. I don't want to ruin it, but when you get the book, you'll start laughing because Dan and I came up with this idea, and we put it in the back as well. We're just really excited about the book.
Right on.
What is it that draws you to Frank Castle's Punisher?
Well, I'm sorry. What is the what?
What is it that draws you to Frank Castle as the Punisher?
I can relate to how he feels about the world sometimes. I'm not a violent person, so I don't have the burn me down or kill them all attitude. But he definitely is a revenge, kind of like a wish fulfillment kind of character, where where, and has to do with the other book I'm doing with Daredevil. Frank is a guy that he doesn't have, if he kills something, he doesn't have to worry about it anymore. Whether it's, and where Daredevil has to take him to court and then they can get it released maybe or whatever, they're serving time. Frank likes to wipe people off the face of the map so he never has to deal with them again. And his initial motivation was, they killed his family, but he's at the point now where he's just like, enough of this trash in the world. I need to take out the trash. And he's a one-man army, and boy, in this book, he's just, a lot happens to him in it, because it's just his world gets turned upside down in this. And but I think I like the wish fulfillment with the revenge stuff. I'm not a revenge guy, and but we have stuff happen in the world, and we're all brought up with comic books, and we think karma is going to get everybody. Oh, they did bad things, they're going to go. Meanwhile, these bad, Hitler was how long he was in, until the war was over. I'm sure there was millions of people going, when is this guy going to drop dead, or when is somebody going to kill him? So the world isn't always, the karma isn't always there. Sometimes people that are bad sometimes live a long life and die. And I like the idea that the Punisher just goes out of his way to make sure they don't live a long life, and the bad guys get what they deserve. And we like to think, we're comic book people, we like to think that there's that kind of justice in the world. But as we watch what's going on in Washington and the world, we see that there's not always justice. There isn't always justice. And sometimes the bad guys are winning, and we don't love that, but that's the reality of the world. So I kind of like the Punisher because he just kind of doesn't take that crap from anybody,
Creatively speaking, how do you feel writing the Punisher after guys like Mike Baron, Garth Ennis?
They're all better than me.
Rosenberg. I mean, is there any intimidation factor there?
Yes, they're all better writers than me. So that said, I just have to try to do the best I can.
Sure.
I can't get near those guys. I mean, those guys those are the guys that I read that I loved, and I got to work with Garth on Welcome Back, Frank.
Yeah, you did.
Nights. So I like to think I learned a little bit, but I can't. I hope to one day be anywhere near as good as him and Mike and all those guys. I mean, we had some of the best writers in comics doing the Punisher and doing their take on the Punisher. I'm trying to do my own take, but like I said, I can't. Those guys. I mean, Chuck Dixon. I was inking the books when Chuck Dixon was writing them. Back in the 90s. I just try to do the best I can. I'm kind of like, I'm doing the Punisher that I grew up with, which is Frank Castle, angry Frank Castle, and wants to burn down the world. And I don't have the Garth had a dark sense of humor. Chuck had this, man, he knew his weapons, and he had this war background to it, and so I'm trying to do the best I can with my version of it. I thank God that I have Dan Panosian drawing it, because he definitely makes my work look better. He's that good of an artist,
Well, I mean, Dan Panosian, look, nothing. Don't beat yourself up, because he could make just about anybody look better.
Yes, he's
one of those guys.
He's one of the best in the business right now, and he's doing amazing work. And this is just going to make his name bigger. This book is just going to put him on another level, and that's really exciting to see, because he and I both started in comics around the same time, and we were both inkers when we started. So it's really nice to see his evolution and his work mature so quickly, man.
Right.
Oh my God,
So it's Frank Castle and Daredevil now. That's another project you've got on the horizon.
Yes, that comes out in November, and that's 5 issues. And that's basically, the story takes place in 1999. It's interwoven with the Marvel Knights Maganucci story. So I kind of go into Garth's story and show it from Daredevil's point of view. Now, in Welcome Back, Frank, we had the issue where Daredevil, he gets knocked out by the Punisher, and then he ties him up, puts a gun in his hand, and tells him either I'm going to shoot this guy or you're going to shoot me first. but either way, somebody's going to die, and Matt just can't do it, and then he gets knocked out by the Punisher, and that's the end that we see of Matt. The first issue of my book starts off with Daredevil waking up from that punch, and where the Punisher put him, and it goes from there, and it's crazy, and it's it's wild, and it works exactly with the timeline of Welcome Back, Frank, and it tells a story we haven't seen before, and it's my version of two superheroes. It's my version of Heat with Daredevil and Punisher.
Oh wow,
The movie Heat.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's a little hardcore and it's a little rough, and they do have that sit down in the series where where they say, you know, what you're doing is this and what I'm doing is that, and your way is wrong, and it's kind of fun to watch Matt and Frank go at it. It's actually Daredevil and Frank, because in those days he didn't know Matt Murdock was Daredevil in those days. So it's Frank, it's Punisher and Daredevil are going to have a nice sit down to talk about why their methods work better and why the other one's wasting their time. It's fun.
I love it.
Yeah.
Dad, what do you have for us?
And you also have a new Harley crossover, correct? Coming out?
Yeah, just when we thought we were out, they dragged us back in. They came. It was the Dynamite's publishing it, but it's a DC Dynamite Jam, and so we're doing Harley Quinn meets Elvira. And,
oh, nice!
And it's 6 issues. The artwork is by Juan Samu and my wife Amanda Connor. So Amanda's doing the covers, and she's doing pages in each book. She's doing a couple of pages in each book, and it's basically insanity. I will tell you, this comic book, if you like the old Harley stuff, you're gonna love this book. If you like Elvira, you're gonna like this book, because Cassandra Peterson, Elvira, she oversees when we write our dialogue, so it's, you know, a lot of it's her, and it's just the meeting of the two, and they have an adventure together. And we do have other DC characters in the book. We have Power Girl in the book, and we have guest appearances by other characters. And it's just 6 issues of us having a complete blast. It's one of those things where when they pitched it to us, we were like, let us think about it. I think we can do something really fun with this. And when we came back, we had an idea, and they said instantly, go, it's greenlit. You guys write it. And, you know, the only thing that slows us up a little bit, because Cassandra has to read each issue and make sure everything's right, or give us some suggestions. But it comes out October 1st. I think that's like a couple of weeks from now.
Yeah.
And yeah, it comes out, and then it comes out the first week of every month, the 6 months. And we're excited about it because it looks great, it reads great, it's funny, it's fun. Die-hard Harley fans are gonna love it. People like Elvira are going to love it. And then the people who are sitting there going, Elvira and Harley, what the hell is that? Are going to like it too. They're going to pick it up. It got ordered very well. It got ordered over 90,000. And let me tell you, nobody thought it would ever get ordered that high, because the regular monthly Harley books, they're like, I don't know what they are, but they're probably around 15,000 or less or whatever. And they just never, I don't think anybody ever saw those numbers coming, but I like to remind people that we worked on Harley for 6 years, and we do have a little bit of a following on that one,
As well you should.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea of it people liked, and then Dynamite was really smart. They sent out a preview to every retailer, and the retailers loved the previews, and that's when the numbers went up. So, really good.
Now, was it hard to capture the voice of Elvira?
No, we watched the movies, and we watched a whole bunch of footage of her. And if you want to put it into context, Amanda and I always think of like Harley's voice as Bugs Bunny, and for Elvira we pictured like a wisecracking Groucho Marx making sexual innuendos, because no matter what we say in the book, she'll always find a sexual innuendo, to say that really is Elvira's character, you know. Um, so they were easy to team up because they are distinctively different, and that always makes for a better book, I think.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you've got more to work with in terms of playing them off each other in that regard.
Absolutely. A little, you know, they're both horn dogs, but they're different kinds of horn dogs, you know. And they're both funny and charming, and at the same time they're surrounded by a lot of characters that are just crazy. I mean, we, like I said, we dig in. We go a little crazy with the supporting cast on this one. So there's going to be a lot for everybody in these books.
So you say you go crazy with the supporting cast. Who can people look forward to seeing?
I will say I can say that Power Girl's in issue 3.
Okay.
And
Amanda's got some history there.
yes, and we're bringing back some villain that we can't say yet. And
Oh.
then we have Harley supporting cast from the comics we did, the Gang of Harleys and all those characters, and the Beavers there, Bernie the Beavers there. And yeah, and then there's we kind of poke a little fun at both companies in there, and they kind of let us do whatever we want. So there's a little bit of everything. There's a lot of stuff hidden in there. When you're reading it, you'll understand what I'm talking about. Like sometimes we're referencing things and people are going to be, what's that about? And the comic people are going to understand in a second what we're talking about. So a little bit of everything, a little bit of something for everyone, you know.
So when you talk about your poking fun at some of the companies or tropes within the industry, so to speak, is there anything you were told you couldn't do?
We're always told we can't do things. We're always told. I remember Dan DiDio said years ago, he said, write it as you see it, and then the editors will tell you what you can't do afterwards.
Mm-hmm.
But he says, write it exactly how you see the story, and then we'll tell you. And you know, he was right, because we write as crazy as we want to write it, and then they'll find like one or two things, you know, that we've gone too far. And for Amanda and I, we always write like 6 things that we think we went too far. So they find the 2 that stand out the most, and the 4 other ones get ignored, and that's what winds up in the book. And we learned that early on. Like if you give them too many things, they pick on the biggest ones, and we always get away with something in the book. So there's innuendos. There's it's sexy. It's a little bit fun. It's a little bit dangerous. But it's also lighthearted and crazy, but it also develops both the characters. I think the thing that the takeaway will be how much you really are going to like both of these characters. And then you see what they go through together, and there's a kind of a bonding there that happens that makes it even more fun.
Awesome. Yeah. It
Yeah.
helps that they're both horn dogs.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's comic book people mostly are, male and female, by the way.
Right on.
Yeah.
So tell us, what else do you have coming up?
We have the let's see, what did we not talk about? Well,
yeah,
I
we
think I
talked
mentioned,
about, you had like 6 or 7 projects on the boil.
I mentioned this comes out this week, Wild at Heart by Harley Quinn. It's a 400-page plus whatever. It's like 16 issues of Harley for $9.99. So it's a bit of a monster.
Print money.
Yeah, these compact comics are terrific. We have I have out. It came out last week. Blue Falcon and Wonder Mutt. What did I say? Wonder Mutt. I always get those two confused. But Blue Falcon series is out now. And then I have my monthly book, which is Deadly Tales of the Gunslinger. That's my monthly. I have the new one right here. Let me see if I can find it. Oh no, it's not right here. Well, my Blue Falcon is right here. That counts.
Okay. A little bit about Blue Falcon.
Oh no! Wait. Here we go. Wait. Okay. There's the Deadly Tales of Gunslinger. I think this comes out next week.
Okay.
I don't think it's this week. I think it's next week. And then this is out now. This is Amanda did the cover for this one. Blue Falcon's based on the animated show that was many, many years ago. Not the deepest story-wise show. It was sort of like a Batman type character with Dino Mutt, which is like a bionic dog. When they gave it to me to write, I was like, I watched all the cartoons, and by the time I was done, I was like, oh, there's not much to this, really. You know, it's just like They just like stand around and they go, "Oh, there's the bad guy. Oh, I'll get him." And and then Dynamite does something goofy, and that's the end of that.
So how
Um,
do you as a writer flesh that out?
well, I kind of like had the question, why do I care, right? Why would I
Right.
care? What does the character want? What does the character fear? These are the questions you ask each character. And then why should I care? Like, why should I care about this? I did kind of go a little John Wick on the first issue, because in the book, Dynamite is not the cyborg dog yet. He's just his dog, and Radley, he has to deal with the fact that he's a superhero and there's a lot of bad guys out there, and they don't give a crap that he has a dog, and so things happen, and it's a bit of Dynamite's origin in a way.
Mhm.
So I just tried, a couple of things I did is try to establish who he was. He's a scientist. He's an art collector. He's, all these things, who the actual man behind the cape is. And then his relationship with his dog, which anybody who has a dog understands that that's probably their best friend ever.
Oh, absolutely.
And then,
People love stories with dogs.
right.
Okay?
And this one,
And comics are no different.
yeah, and this one's a little rough. It's a little rough. I got. I'm
So to
saying rough.
speak.
I'm saying rough. I'm saying rough too much. I think I gotta go chase a bone right now. But yeah, it's pretty much the bad guys come in and we have a casualty right away.
Oh man.
And yeah, so it's a cliffhanger first issue. But it's a fun book. It's 5 issues of that's Dan Panosian right now texting me. Yeah, turn that. Excuse me for not turning that off. He's sending me the cover for the 4th issue, so that's what we're doing right now.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, that looks pretty good. Anyway, so Dynamite asked me to do it. I said, let me look it up, and I said, what can I? I said, there's not much backstory, so what do I do? Like, and they said, kind of just give him some story. Here's the Beast. There's a Beast Woman as a character, and there's these are the things that people know. So put together a superhero story with that, and it kind of came together pretty easily. And like I said, first issue's out now, doing pretty well, and they'll come out for the next 4 months. So more
Awesome.
reading. I'm emptying everybody's pocketbooks right now.
You're staying busy, and I mean that's great.
Well, some of the stuff I did a while ago, and it comes out now. That's how it.
So it goes, but
So it goes. Yeah. So
nature of the beast.
Yeah.
But I mean, you've been doing this for decades now, and there's writers and artists out there that have been around, since this same time frame that you started that can't say that. So,
Yeah,
I think you're a pretty lucky guy.
I think like the longevity in any job is that you have to be have to have a level of aggressiveness. You have to be open to try new things. You have to promote yourself, which a lot of guys don't.
Sure.
A lot of guys don't. And then you have to take on projects not because it's popular or not because it's going to make you the most money. You have to take on the projects you love. And I think that's what the longevity is, that picking the right stuff. Look, I could have made a career and just done Batman or X-Men and stayed on those things for years, and I'd get royalties for years. But I didn't have any interest in that. I was like, when they said Jonah Hex, I was like, oh, I want to write Jonah Hex.
Yeah.
That's cool. I want to do the Marvel Knights. This is something different, and so I follow the career of things that interested me instead of maybe some smart moves where I just worked on popular things. But in the end, it starts with me. So if I'm not happy, then nobody's going to be happy.
Right.
We all don't like to admit that, but that's the truth. I can't make anyone happy unless I'm happy.
No, you're 100% right, because
yeah.
lack of interest in one's work shines through.
Oh, I could tell when a writer doesn't like the book he's working on. I just like,
absolutely.
There's no passion. I try to find the thing in the book that why I would buy it, Like I try to find a thing where I sit there and go, okay, you know what? I would buy that. And if
Mhm.
like it's very important, even like with the Gunslinger book, it was like, okay, I read Todd's books. I kind of like know the character, but he wanted me to write it in the 1800s. So what can I bring to the table with this character? And until I found it, it was actually a very perplexing thing for me because I got the gig, and then I was like, how am I going to make this interesting? Like beyond just that he looks cool, that's not enough for me.
Right.
And I found the beat in the book finally, and especially with the artists on it, Patrick Reynolds. And I found the beat, and I was like, okay, now it's easier to write the book because I feel like I know this character now. He's more interesting to me, and again, I can be experimental now, right? Because
Oh,
we've
plus, you're getting
established
rid of Western again.
right. But we also established who the character is. Todd does the book every month. He writes his book. Um, so now it could be about the crazy world around them, and that's really where I'm taking the character is that he's a very manipulated character, the gunslinger.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't understand the forces around him that created him, and they're playing him the whole time. And it's a lot of fun to do. But until I found that beat, it's kind of hard to do work on a character that you just don't feel anything for. And I really did. Look, when they gave Amanda and I Harley Quinn, I was like, I don't know, didn't this book just get canceled? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, so how long are we going to stay on this? And, Dan's like, it'll probably get canceled, but, have some fun. And I said, can we do anything we want? And he said, yes. And that's when it clicked. And I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to write, Amanda and I are going to write this the way we see it. We're going to make a breakup with the Joker. We're going to put her in Coney Island. We're going to get her out of Gotham so she's not a secondary Batman character. Enough of that,
Yeah.
And sometimes that's the formula. Sometimes you got to let the creators do what they see and let it pan out. It doesn't always work, but I notice in the career people remember your successes way before they remember your failures. So
True that.
yeah.
True that. So, other than everything we talked about, like, do you have anything else on the horizon that you can discuss that's not under lock and key right now?
I have two things that I can't talk about.
Okay.
One is a manga book, so it's 100 and something pages. It's a big monster.
Oh wow.
But I can't say who it's for or what I'm doing yet. I have a sequel to one of my other books that they're going to announce maybe at New York Con or maybe at New York Con. So I'm not allowed to talk about that. Basically, I feel I'm exhausted listening to me, Matt. I'm exhausted listening to me rattle off the books. Usually I talk about one book, but there's a lot going on. I will say that it's a great time for me right now because I'm getting
That's a good problem to have, by the way.
Yeah, I'm writing. I'm putting. The other day I put a lot of the stuff I'm working on in a row, so I can see what the theme is. And the only theme is that I'm working on them. It's like there's no it's all over the place. It's science fiction. It's horror. It's Western. It's animation. It's based on the cartoons, and I'm just like,
well, versatility keeps you from being pigeonholed.
That's true.
And typecast.
That could drive people crazy sometimes.
Sure.
I also had this come out. This is out now. See, I'm looking up at my. I have a cabinet full of things. This is a Pop Kill. This is the.
Yeah, that got great reviews.
The four issue collection is the back of the can. Gets all blood all over it. Dave Johnson did this beautiful cover. I just love this craziness. It's like glossy, so it looks like the bullet holes are really in the can. It's kind of crazy. But this collects the 4 issues we did in there. It's I don't think they numbered the pages, did they? No, it's like the 4 issues. Each issue had 30-something pages, so it's a lot of pages. But Mad Cave is doing such a great job with publishing these days.
Hats off to them.
And we were so happy with how well this book did for them. We never saw it coming. We thought, who's going to buy a comic about competing soda companies and a misogynistic James Bond guy running around trying to hit on a female scientist? And we just wrote that. It was fun. but they put it out and it sold like crazy for them, and really happy with the guys at Mad Cave. They did a beautiful job. The
Mm-hmm.
trade's gorgeous. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the trade is just $20 for the 4 issues. Then it has a whole pinup gallery of the covers, and
Were they all done by Dave Johnson?
no, there's some of the covers in the back there. I'm looking at. There's a lot of Dave ones for sure. But it's Andrew Robinson and Adam Hughes. We have that famous one with the girl with the stand, and there's a Mark Chiarello one with the pop kill thing there. And I think Amanda did. Was it Amanda or? Oh yeah, Amanda did the one on the left with the girl with the bubbles, and then that's
Awesome.
That's Dan Panosian's one with the bottle, the girl with the bottle. It has the extra stuff. It has in the back. It has some of the original pencils for the pages,
Okay.
so people could see what Juan did, and then Dave and I wrote a little something about the book just for people. Look, if you're gonna do a trade book, people, make sure you write something. Make sure you show some art. Make sure you show the covers.
Yeah, put
Make-
something in there that the people that bought the singles can't
Well,
have gotten.
And also, like make your presence known, man. Talk about what you did. People love I love reading. I love a trade book that has extra stuff in it because I don't want to read it just again. I want to read more. I want more information about it. And I feel the same way about art books. If you're going to do an art book on somebody's art, make sure there's photos of them. Tell me how they started. Give me some more. Just don't show art in a book. I need more.
Yeah. My favorite art book for comics is the covers collection for Preacher that Glenn Fabry did, because he and Garth have that running commentary through the whole thing.
Yeah, I have a copy of that.
Yeah,
I love that book.
And it just adds such a extra layer, extra dimension to everything.
I mean, people want that. Comics are an experience, So I just think that take the extra time. If you're going to take $20 from somebody's pocket, make sure you give some nice thickness to there. Give them something. And again, they did a beautiful job. They did a spot varnish with a velvet. You can see it's like reflecting where the can is to make it look. These little extra things go a long way for collectors. We're also comic people are tactile. We like the feel of things.
Yes,
we're very tactile about our paper stock, about how it holds the color, and I was going to hold this book up. Every time I hold the book up, there's a topless girl on it. And I'm just like, okay, we can't do that. I'll find something without a topless girl on it. Okay. But anyway, it's just beautiful printing. The colors are fantastic. And
Mad Cave spares no expense.
No, they don't. And this is in stores now. I'm very proud of.
We've actually talked to quite a few creators and behind the scenes folks from Mad Cave over the last 2-3 years. And the passion at that company that they have is amazing.
No, they're great. They're just a great crew. I got to meet the owner, and I got to meet all the people involved last year in San Diego, and we're definitely going to be doing more work with them. We like working with them.
So. Absolutely, as well you should.
Yeah, good people. Can't go wrong with good people.
No. Knowing the right people is the key to everything.
I agree.
So you've got a lot going on. You've had a hell of a career, Jimmy. Is there anything that you can think of to reflect on where you've been, where you are now, where you're going? Like any sort of summative? Are you at that point in your career, or are you just taking it as it comes still?
I'm definitely re-energized. I think where some companies might dismiss me at this age, I feel like I'm doing my best work. So. I think that's the nature of the world is to, go back to, to get new younger people working, and that's great. But at the price of the people that have been delivering for years, I think that's stupid, right? I think you could have both in your business. I'm just it's another chapter in my writing and. Man, I hope I'm getting better. I just keep trying.
Well, that should be the goal is to get better.
I edit myself and then re-edit myself and then I go take a walk and I come back and look at it again and I'm like, oh, that's stupid. Let me get rid of that. You can, so the art of this is to edit yourself, to re-edit, and to not be afraid to take something out, even if you spent time on it, to cut it out. Say, you know what, that doesn't work. Throw it out. The writers have it easy where the pencilers have it harder, right? Because our deadlines are easy to hit. The pencil has to draw every single page. So I want to make sure my artists get something really worked out, not 3 motions in one panel, not crazy stuff. Everything should be linear and easy to read. Very important for me. And I want to make sure the communication to the audience is clear on the page. And that's why I try to work with better artists, because the better the artist, the better work. I can write Shakespeare, and if I have a crappy artist, you're not going to want to read it.
At the end of the day, it's a visual medium.
It's a visual medium. So I try to work with the best,
Yeah.
And I've been very lucky. Some stuff's out of my control, right? But I've been very lucky most of the time. It's a couple of books I'm like, I'm suffering because the art doesn't follow the script very well, or the editor didn't do their job, or whatever, and that happens. Again, this is a business. People expecting their books every week. They want their comics every week. Do you go to a regular store, Matt, every week?
I do. And as a matter of fact, I work part-time at that store on the weekends. So
what's the name of it?
All-Star Comics, Oklahoma City.
Oklahoma, okay. And you see how many books come in each week.
Absolutely.
And when you look at one, you have to realize some artist is sitting there for 3 weeks drawing that book that you flip through for 1 second. And it's a really amazing, comics are just an amazing art form, and I appreciate it more and more. I have original artwork, as I collect original artwork. There's a sideways Phil Noto painting right there. I haven't hung it up yet. That's why that thing. Oh, where is it? Over here. Yeah, that thing over there is a Phil Noto painting. But I have a new space for it, so I want to hang it up correctly.
Most definitely.
But I collect original artwork too. That's something I've done since I was a kid. So I'm just in love with what I do, and I'm hoping that I'm hoping people give it a chance. The Kickstarter is really about people having faith in your work. I'm not setting the world on fire. I'm not a Garth Ennis, and I'm not a lot of these guys that. Yes, it's Scott Snyder or Tom.
There's something to be said for consistency.
And Tom King. Yeah, there's a Tom King's. These guys are amazing,
Right.
So I'm just trying to learn the craft from their work and get better at it. I probably will die trying to get better. That's the artist's dilemma. No artist sits there and goes, "This is fantastic. I'm great." No real artist does that. They're always worrying about, like, could I have done more? Could I have made it better?
Right.
Art isn't about satisfaction. It's about telling a story. So at the end of the day, that's all I want to do.
There you go. Perfectly stated. The man, the myth, the legend, Jimmy Palmiotti, thank you so much for hanging out with us this evening.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it, buddy.
The Kickstarter now funding is for Deep Sea. You should definitely check it out if you're a fan of good comics. Enough said in that regard.
There you go. Thank you, Matt. I appreciate it.
Absolutely, my friend. We will be back because we were here on a special night tonight. Chad and I will be back on our normal night, Thursday, to talk with Grim Jim Zub about all things Conan.
Say hi to Jim for me.
Absolutely, we will.
Yeah.
Jimmy Palmiotti, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thank you, all of you, for listening and watching. We get out here every week and we do our thing because we love comics. So it's really as simple as that. So get out there, do some good in the world, support local art, support local comics, local creators, local music. Just don't get out there and be a dick. Thank you so much, and we'll catch you next time.